Hello friends, good afternoon. It's almost time to start now. It's already 1:40 in my watch. Thank you for waiting. Now we have got 86 participants are with us now this afternoon. I once again welcome each and every one of you. This is the fourth day in our webinar. This is a 7-day program. We concentrate more on the skills of the student side. On the first day, Dr. Jishya spoke on positivity, be positive. On the second day, Dr. Mirunalini from Australia, he spoke on be a solution. On the third day, Mr. Shofat, he spoke on be a mystic. And on the fourth day, we have Dr. Ratina Prabhu with us this afternoon to speak on be ready. Dr. Ratina Prabhu is an assistant professor of English. I'm working with him. We are together in the same department. He is a very good gentleman. He is known for his eloquence and the clarity in his presentation. Now, am I audible? Can you chat me, please?
Yes, you audible, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Because someone has sent in the chat box not audible. Fine. Thank you so much for your answers. Right. So this gentleman is here now with us to enlighten us with the topic, be ready. See, this is really lacking among many of the graduates nowadays. Getting ready to face an interview, getting ready to face a job related programs, so many things are taken into account here. Now let's listen to Dr. Ratina Prabhu, and I'm sure that he will really enrich our knowledge in how to be ready in making our employee ready skill home. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Ratina Prabhu. Dr. Ratina Prabhu, it's your time. You can start now.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon to everyone.
Can you be
my voice
louder?
audible? Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is my voice audible to everyone?
Better now.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm going to share my presentation in a different ID. It is going to be ARP.
Hello.
And is it audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
You can go on, please.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. And before getting to this program, I would like to thank Dr. Benison, who is the man behind all success. And it's all because of him we have got this kind of a great platform. So thank you so much, sir, for your kind invitation and arrangements.
Welcome, gentlemen. Go ahead.
And this session is going to be somehow interactive session. And you may think, how is it possible for us to communicate? I'm sure you're going to communicate with me. And then and there, I'm going to use this chat box. I do not know how many of you are using this chat box right now. Kindly come into the chat box, and I'm going to post a question to you, and you're going to answer the question. Then we'll talk on. Okay, the first question is, what is the difference between silver and gold? This is going to be the first question I want you to answer promptly, quickly. What is the difference between silver, and gold. Color, okay, great. Cost, value, difference, the value of them, okay, properties, price, that's great, great. And people are so active now. Color, all right, color and cost and value, weight, okay, price, it's great. Great on in the valley, price. Gold is more valued, okay. Electronic configuration, okay. Maybe he's an engineer, she's an engineer, okay. Price and color, okay, royal, right? Silver can be pure, okay. Gold is mixed with copper, okay. Oh, that's a great thing. When you're gonna mix with the silver, okay, fine. And then quality, all right. Used frequently, right? How about silver? Okay, silver tarnishes, okay. Create beauty, all right, it's great. Now you tell me, what is the difference between this 9.71 and 9.58? Microseconds? Okay. I hope it is 13 microseconds, right? Microseconds or milliseconds, value of time. All right, okay. So as a matter of fact, there's a little difference between these two things. The first one is called gold, and the second one is silver. And we've got little difference, that is 13 milliseconds, or you can say microseconds, right? And once you are going to have a little effort, that 13 microseconds are going to change your life. Once you're going to get 13 seconds, microseconds, you are going to be a gold medaler. You're going to win gold medal. But as a matter of fact, that 13 microseconds changed the life of the first person. You know his name. What's his name? Usain Bolt. It's great. So he is the one who crossed 100 meters in just 13 milliseconds, just 9.58 seconds, right? There's a difference between these two people. It's just 13 milliseconds. All right, so let us move on to the second question. The second question is, which is the highest paying job in the world? This is my second question. Is my voice audible to you? Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Prabhu, you can go ahead. It's clear. It's clear.
Can you see my face?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Fine. IT profession, okay. When you see the slide, you can understand that. It's very easy for you to understand that. What is that? Medical, okay, that's great. In the medical field, there is a part called anesthesiology. This anesthesiologist, they get 3 crore 13 lakh 67,890 rupees per annum. And this is considered one of the best, one of the highest paying jobs in the world. And what they do, are they going to do the operation, or are they going to perform an operation, I hope they're not going to perform an operation. And before the operation, they are going to have some preparation. Before the operation, they are going to have some preparation, and that preparation is going to give them the best salary ever. So, two important things I would like to emphasize today. The first one is little things are really valid. And the second thing is little preparation is required. And the third things I would like to emphasize today, what is that? I would like to pose a question. Kindly check your chat box. What are the uses of pebbles? What are the uses of pebbles? Good for health, less cost, easily available. Okay. Can you repeat once again? All right. What are the uses of pebble? What are the uses of pebble? Acupuncture treatment. Okay. No side effects. That's great. All right. I want more answers. Come on, guys. This is a post-lunch session, and I want you to speak. I want you to type something. Come on, be active. Voice therapy, great. You guys are so great. Use as a book weight, pebble, the softness of it, okay? All right, let me tell you a little story. I hope you guys are really interested to hear a story. I would like to share a story about a shepherd boy. Shepherd boy, he loved tending sheep, and that's the job of a shepherd boy. And one fine day, his father insisted him to meet his bros in the war. And now we don't have any war field. In those days, there are separate war fields, and the war is going to take place only in that particular war field. And this shepherd boy agreed the words of his father, and he has been to the war field. And in the war field, he happened to see a giant man, 10-foot tall giant man. And the thing is, he came to know that killing of a giant man will definitely end the war. So the shepherd boy decided to fight. So what happened? He approached the king. The king is not much interested in him, but somehow he convinced the king, and the king gave him some clothing, and he wore all the things, but he was not comfortable on the things. So what has happened? He decided not to have that clothing. So he decided to have his own things. What are his own things? He has just picked 5 small pebbles. That is the only one thing he picked, and he has got a sling, and with that sling, with that pebble, he killed a giant. And even his name is David. Even God is interested in him, because he called his name as his name. He's interested using his name for his purpose. So what a miraculous victory over this thing. So my point is, little things are going to give you, little things are going to make you a lot of changes. Little things are going to bring changes. That's the thing. So today I would like to give you 3 important things. First one is, we need to be very careful about the little things. Number 2 is, we're supposed to have we supposed to have little training on that thing. Only then we can have success in our life. And I would like to read the quote of Vincent van Gogh. Says, great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. When you're going to bring small things together, definitely there is a success. So today, I'm sure it is a period of coronavirus, and people are really afraid. Why? Because people have no idea what is going to happen in the coming days, and they have no idea what is going to happen to the nation, and they have no idea how they're going to get their job. The young people are so interested in getting jobs, but at the same time, no one is ready to give them job because the condition of economic condition is really poor. So nobody is ready to recruit people. So what can be done for that? What is the need of this hour is getting a job or getting into the interview itself a really a big thing. And most of the time we get interview, but we simply neglect certain things. And finally we'll tell our parents like they are not interested. Okay. But as a matter of fact, if you're going to concentrate little things in your life, you're not going to lose anything in your life. So that is the idea behind that. And before getting to the next part, I would like to give you a slide. I would like to give you a case. I want you to read the case and try to answer in the chat box. Kindly read the case. It is in the slide. My slides are in the different ID. In the name of ARP, you can see my slides. There I posted a case. I want you to read. I would like to give you 1 minute. Kindly read and write your answers in the chat box. Yeah, I'm not speaking. Are you reading? Can't hear me. Is it audible now? Great. Thank you. Can you read the case? Yeah, let me read it for you. In the year 2019, Mia completed her 4-year course. Her father is a driver of a truck and her mother is a home builder. She needed to work for her family. She sent resumes to different companies. One day, she received a call from a company for an interview. That job is going to be a life changer for her. The interview commences at 10 a.m. Mia arrives at 9:55 at the office. The company operates in the 12th floor. The building has no escalator and elevator. What would Mia do? This is my question. Pricey, it may be 9:55 p.m. No, it's 9:55 a.m. She goes upstairs and then explain her reason. All right. Lack of preparation. That's right. Oh, okay. No escalator, no elevator. Aware of that. Okay. Switch off the power box and climb up. They won't see her late arrival. All right. So interesting. And she's maybe, and she should be punctual. Okay. Right. All right. I know. I need some more answers. Mr. Opportunity. Okay. Situation. Right. Face the consequences. All right. Overcome music dear about the company. Right. Yes, she must be clear about that company. All right. She has arrived the office 9:25. It's on the 12th floor, so she's on the right place well before time. Right place. Well before the time. No, she has to reach the company. The company is in the 12th floor. All right, friends. In this case, I'm sure she would not have reached the place because she didn't reach the place. She's in the first floor, in the downstairs place. She would not have reached the place on time. So most of the time we say that, I could read some of their comments. They said, okay, she can go and explain all these things, right? But one little word I mentioned there, the little word is, what's the little word? The little word is, the job is going to be a life changer for her. Then how come she can go and explain all the situations, right? That's really a big mistake, right? And nobody is going to accept all the reasons. I used to tell my students, like, reasons are not solutions. Reasons are not solutions. When you can have plenty of reasons in your life, but that's not a solution. So people love to tell a lot of reasons, but that reasons are not solutions. Okay, first thing is, we supposed to identify the location. Location is very important. In the slide, you can see, Google map. Wherever we go, we love to have, this is a very interesting thing. We love to, put the destination, and we walk, we drive, we fly, we do whatever we like. But one thing is very important: never ever trust Google Map. When there is a location in same name, two different places, you can see there are two colleges in a same name in a city. When you're going to type one name, a name of a college in a particular city, what is going to happen? Google is going to consider some other colleges, the same name. It will lead you to some other place. It has happened in my life so many times. When I was in Kodaikanal, happened to deliver a lecture in a university, and I traveled east, but unfortunately the college is in the west. We lost everything. So identify the location is very essential. Never trust Google Map, and you have to go to the place and examine all the things, how many floors we have to climb, what are the situation is there, whether elevator is working or do we have to walk, use the steps. You need to have all the details. Only then you can reach the place on time. So identifying the location before the time is very essential. And these are the things, I'm going to give you a lot of tips, not on the particular day, before the day, before the interview, you're supposed to have all the things. Maybe it's a very small thing. You may feel like it's very ordinary one. I know all the things, right? Why should I do that? Why should I have all these things? Should not think like that. There are certain times we are going to forget all this. So the first thing is you have to identify the location and go to the place and find out what are the difficulties you've got. Once you feel that job is going to change my life, you ought to go and identify the place and see the place, and see the things, and then confirm everything, and then go to the place the next day. So that's very important. Identify the location is very important. Number 2, in time and on time. On time and in time is very essential. And most of the time, students are going to come out of the classroom after the time. And very few students are going to come only on time. And maybe you can see 1 or 2 in time, before the time. And do we have to go to the interview before the time or on the time? Anything is okay, but not after the time. The days are going to come. Robots are going to monitor everything. And that particular time, what is going to happen? I do not know how many of you are going to believe this. That particular time, robo is going to check time. If it is 10 o'clock, before 10 o'clock, the robo is going to say, yes, get in. And if it is 9:59, it is going to say yes. And 10 o'clock, it is going to say yes. And 10:01, it is going to shoot and kill. Okay, you are late. So the days are going to come. So time plays a very vital role whenever you're going to approach an interview. You're supposed to be careful on time. Before the time is always okay. And the next very important thing is, most of the time when you're going to see the interview description, you're not going to bother about what is written in that. And they may say strong communication is required. Sometimes they are going to tell you two-wheeler is required. Sometimes they tell you Python is needed. And you should not take a Python, catch a Python, and put it in a bag and give it to them. Hey, just a joke. It is not a real thing. And Python is a platform, you're supposed to read, you're supposed to learn. And, it is a very much needed of in this years, in the coming years, Python is going to be one of the best platforms. So if the employer is going to say Python is needed, you're supposed to you need to have that kind of a knowledge. And you need to read all the description. Only then you can understand whether this interview is for you or not. And most of the cases, people are going to come for the interview. They'll come like anything, come like a gang, and then in the gate itself, they'll be sent out. The reason is they would not have read the description. So reading the description is very essential. Maybe it's a very small thing, but it is very essential. The next important thing is, you're supposed to, when you're going to have an interview, you're supposed to have some idea about the company. At least you need to have some news or recent events. What are the things that are happening? And recently I came to know there's a company in Tirunelveli. They recruited people. And a few days ago, the CEO of the company met with an accident, and he died on the spot. And probably some a month gap, they started recruiting people. And the first, they didn't ask anything. They didn't ask the question. They didn't ask anything. They've got more than 100 people. They didn't pick all. They picked only 2 persons. Who are the 2 persons? And the 2 persons, they regretted the death of the CEO. They started, I heard that your CEO has passed away last week. And I heard from the newspaper, I'm really sorry to hear all these things. And once you're going to get all the information, it's very easy for us to get information from internet. Very easy for us to get, anything is possible through internet. Anything is possible. So once you go to the interview, you're supposed to have all the information about the company, news or recent events, everything, you should have it. And there are sometimes, they'll ask you questions like, what do you know about us? It's a very common question. It's a very common question. They'll ask you, what do you know about us? I didn't know anything about you, but if you're going to say like that, I didn't know anything about you. I heard that you're going to pay high salary. That's it. That's the end of the interview. So you're supposed to know all the news and events of the company. The next important thing is, when you go to the interview, you're supposed to understand the culture of the company. And most of the time, the company will tell you, no bike in the campus. They'll have a bicycle. You're supposed to keep your two-wheeler outside or four-wheeler outside the company and take a bicycle, and you have to use the bicycle. That's the culture of the company. That may be the culture of the company. How I'm going to get all the culture? Through internet. Everything is in the internet. If you don't know anything about that, just go to the company. Before the interview, you're supposed to go to the company and get all the information from them. And then tomorrow you can prepare yourself according to the need of the company. That's very important. And there are so many companies, they'll write like no horn in the premises. That's their culture. That's a thing. You suppose this is a common knowledge, right? And most of the time we won't do that. No horn in the premises. And then they are very much particular about no jeans. And if you're going to use jeans in the interview, think about your condition. That is, and then there are certain companies, they'll say no jeans, no lipstick, they're going to tell you all kinds of things. You're supposed to know the culture of the company before getting to the interview. And then the last 2 things I would like to tell you, very important things before getting to the next point. You should know, before getting to the company, you should know the procedures of the company, procedures of the interview. How I'm going to get the procedures? There are so many procedures. Some companies are very much particular about group discussion. Some companies are very much particular about one-on-one interviews. Some companies are not much bothered about one-on-one, not bothered about the group discussion. They are much bothered about the technical round. So you're supposed to prepare according to the need of them. How I'm going to get the procedures? There is a beautiful site. It's called glassdoor.com. If you could write on this, let me put it in the chat box. It is glassdoor.com. Glassdoor.com will give you everything. It will give you the name of the interviewer, and what are the procedures they follow. So you can even understand, you can even know who is going to conduct the interview. You can understand, you can know the name of the interviewer. You can know the name of the interest of the interviewer. You can you can see the pages of the interviewer. Facebook, you can see the pages of the interviewer. You can see the whole history of it. If the interviewer is a singer, maybe you like singing, right? You can share some of the things. Sometimes the interviewer is going to be the musician. So you can have some, if you're a musician, you can have some talk with them. So these all the things are very essential for your interview. Before getting to the interview, you're supposed to have all these things. Maybe it's a very small thing, very ordinary thing. We should not neglect just like that. We must be very careful doing all these things. And we'll move on to the next thing. The next thing is papers. What are the papers? I'm going to have it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to carry. 2 different papers you're going to carry. The first one is resume. That is going to, show who you are. And most of the time, when we're going to prepare a resume, what we do, we'll select a paper, just the normal paper we are going to select. But we should not select the normal paper. We're supposed to select the best paper. The GSM is very essential. Probably you can go with 100 GSM paper. That's very essential. And you know that the ideal font of that writing a resume is Times New Roman. If you're not using that particular font, the order will be really chaotic. So try to use some standard format and standard font. And the standard size, hope you know that it is 12, not more than that. Probably sometimes, you can go 13, not more than that. 12 is okay. And there are certain things you have to concentrate. I don't want to tell you how the resume would be, how you have to prepare all these things, that we have no time to tell all these things. And these are the small things, and most of the time neglected things. Most of the time we neglect it. So we lose so many things in our life. So the first one is the contact details of you. Sometimes, people are going to write their contact details in the last page. That's not the right procedure. You're supposed to write your contact details in the front page. And you're supposed to write your phone number, your email ID, and your landline number, and all these details. You're supposed to write all the things only in the front page, not in the back page. And then when you're going to write your educational qualification, and most of the time when I'm going to read a resume of my students, they start from the chronological order. I studied 10th standard, this is my mark, studied 12th standard, and then BSc, MSc, MPhil, PhD, but this is not the right procedure. This is not the right way. The right way is you're supposed to follow the reverse chronological order. What is the reverse chronological order? The last one will come to the first. Probably you could have finished your PhD now. That's going to be the last one. That's the first one, right? When you write in the resume, writing PhD is going to be the first one. This is what we call it. And then your MSc, and then your BSc, and then 12th standard, 10th standard. And you have to give all the details in reverse chronological order. That the order is very important. When you're going to write your educational qualification as well as your job experience, you're supposed to have it. The next important thing when you're going to consider this resume writing is date. Most of the time, we miss the date. In the resume, you're supposed to write the date. The reason why we miss date, yesterday we could have approached some other companies. Today we could have come to some other company. And we keep along moving and moving and moving. And there are certain time, we forget to write the date. And the most important thing is we forgot to sign. That's very important. You're supposed to sign. Without sign, you cannot get a job. Maybe it's a very small thing. I know, why should I sign? No, it's not at all. You're supposed to sign. And when it consider into this resume part, these are the things are very essential. And what are the papers and some more papers you're supposed to have it? That is your certificate. All the certificates, you're supposed to have all the certificates. Sometimes, students are going to ask me, sir, I donated blood. Can I include this certificate into my resume? Yes, you can. That is going to give you added advantage, added mark. Sir, I'm a member of that group, this group, Lions Club. Yeah, anything is okay. You're supposed to add all the things. I have attended conferences. I have attended a lot of webinars. I've got some 60 to 70 certificates from the webinars that will speak. I'm sure some 100, more than 100 members are here. We have so many work, but still we are here to learn. Still we are here to earn certificate. That certificate is going to speak. So get all the certificates. Keep everything in a single file. I would like to show you one thing. I would like to, if you could see my video, you can see that this is like a book. It's not a book. It's a combination of my resume. In the first page, I wrote like particulars about A. Ratna Prabhu and applied for the post of assistant professor. And in the first page, I've got letter of application. And in the second page, you can see my resume. And there I fixed all my certificates here, all my certificates. And as a matter of fact, when you're going to, make a book like this will speak. And most of the time, people are going to just throw the papers in the face of the interviewer. That's not going to help you. You're supposed to have a book like this. How are you going to make a book? Books, at least you need to have some pages, some 20 to 30 pages. You just take all the papers, all the certificates, and make it a book that will speak. So try to get all the books, all the certificates that will help you. And preparing resume and arranging these certificates in that order is very essential. And that will speak. That will definitely give you a good sign. And we'll move on to the next part. The part is before the interview, you're supposed to do something. What are the things you're supposed to do? There are so many things. And this is very essential, one of the very essential parts. What is that? You're supposed to prepare your language. There are two things that are very essential. The first one is listening. The more you listen, the more you're going to speak. If you're going to listen a lot, you're going to speak like anything. And at the time of interview, you're supposed to speak a lot. At the time of interview, they are going to ask a lot of questions. The first thing is you're supposed to listen. If you're not going to listen to anything else, you cannot speak. So try to have some practice on that thing. You're supposed to resist distractions, and you have to exercise your mind and keep your mind open when you're going to listen something, and listen a lot. And one of the complaints from the companies, the students from south part of Tamil Nadu, they are not good at speaking in English. That's their problem. Though they studied from English medium, though they studied reputed schools, they couldn't speak English in a proper way. The reason is sometimes they are going to speak, but they are not, at the time of interview they got really tensed. For that, you have to listen a lot. And before the day, you're supposed to listen and listen and listen. Keep your mind open and listen a lot. And when you're going to listen a lot, you're going to be a great speaker. Great speaker. What are the good qualities of great speaker? Great speakers are going to be an active listener. They are going to use appropriate volume, and they are going to pronounce the word in a right way, and they are going to have eye contact with the interviewer. And friends, I would like to tell you the very important thing. for speaking. There are plenty of, maybe you can, when you see internet, you can see plenty of ways how to speak, how to converse in English, right? You can see anything. But one little thing I experienced, it is imitate others. When you want to speak good English, just imitate. It is not required to read so many things and do all other things. Just imitate. And just imagine that if you're going to meet a person in US, what do you do? If you don't know English, just imitate. You're going to imitate them. Just imitate. In those days, the people just imitated, right? This is one of the very interesting methods. You just imitate. That will help you to speak English in a better way. So try to imitate before your interview. You're supposed to imitate something. You're supposed to listen a lot and speak a lot. If you're going to listen and imitate, that'll help you. And there are some phrases I would like to show you when you are at the time of interview. Maybe you can practice before the day. The first one is, you can start with, there are plenty of ways you can start. You can say, good morning, good afternoon. I'm Dash, I am so-and-so, and I would like to thank you for the great opportunity given to me. You can say like that. And you can say, I've been looking for the position for a long time. Okay, these are the phrases. You have to keep everything in your mind. And you can say that I would love to work here, because you can start like this. I would love to work here, because you can add some of the reasons. And you can say that maybe after the interview, once the interview is over, you can say, I would be grateful if you could share your comments. You do not know how to ask, how to inquire. That particular time, you can use this phrase like, I'd be grateful if you could share your comments. And thank you very much for your time. I'll be waiting for your call. You can say that. I leave, so that the conversation is going to complete. So these are the phrases you can make use of it. Before going for the interview, you're supposed to have all the phrases. There are plenty of phrases. If you're going to search in the internet, you can have plenty of phrases. Just keep all the things in your mind and speak on that. Practice it. Practice, definitely you have to practice it. Practice alone will help you. So that's very important. And we'll move on to the next part. The part is very little part, and most of the time we are afraid to ask questions. Asking question to the interviewer is okay. Yes, it is okay. Most of the time we are afraid. I know what the interviewer is going to think of me. No, interviewers are not going to think anything, right? You're supposed to ask questions there. That is their expectation. They are expecting you to ask a lot of questions. You're supposed to ask a lot of questions. And for that, you should not ask questions like, how much vacation time do I get? That's not really great. And you should not ask like, do I have a cafeteria, beautiful cafeteria, wonderful cafeteria, world-class cafeteria? No. And you should not ask like, how soon do you promote employees? And these are the questions you should not ask. Maybe in a different way you can ask, right? I gave you a lot of questions. One of the very interesting questions is, what metrics or goals will my performance are evaluated against? And you can ask, I have read about the company's founding. Can you tell me more about that? And what's the company and team culture like? And then what you may ask, what are the next steps in the interview process? Nothing wrong in it. We are afraid to ask these questions, but you have every right to ask questions like, what's the company team culture? What are the next steps of the interview process? You can ask anything. So asking question to the interviewer is very essential. And the next part is very essential part, very important one. The next part is cleanliness. Before the interview, you're supposed to have these things. The first one is you're supposed to clean your body. And most of the time, at the time of interview, we got nervous, we got agitated, right? We got so many things. And this one will add you more nervous. What is that? Body. And I used to tell my kids, I have 2 kids, I used to tell my kids, like, did you complete all the high five? The first one in the high five is clean your stomach, brush your teeth, wash your face, prayer, and then read something. These are the high five in the morning. When you are going to have these high five in the morning, that's really great. And this is all about the previous day. Previous day, what you have to do is you need to have light food. You should not have hard food. That will create a lot of trouble at the time of interview. So you're supposed to have, most of the time, you're not going to bother about these things. We'll have food like anything, and that will reflect in the next day. So have light food. Having light food will definitely give you good mood. And then you're supposed to concentrate your dress code. And there are some companies, they are not going to entertain wearing t-shirts. There are certain companies, they're not going to entertain using shorts. So you're supposed to have, as I informed you earlier, you're supposed to understand the culture of the company. According to the need, according to the culture of the company, you're supposed to have the dress code. And preferably, if you're a male, dark pants and light tops and handcuffed button up is going to be the ideal dress code. And if you're a girl, decent dress code. I do not know, since you've got plenty of dresses, you can have anything you can have, but it should not distract others. That's the only one part you're supposed to concentrate. Your dress code should not distract others. That's very important. When you're going to concentrate these small things, definitely you're going to get big things in your life. The next important thing is you cleaned your body. The next important thing is it's all about your mind. All about your mind. Mind, the whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. This is what Albert Einstein, a great scientist, says. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. So keep your mind clean before the interview is very essential. We all have waste thoughts, past, future, worrying, brooding, daydreaming, and all the waste thoughts we've got. We've got negative thoughts, anger, stress, egoism, criticism, fear of interview. We all have all the mixed thoughts. Sometimes we are going to have functional thoughts like work, career, routine, and all these things, right? Sometimes we'll have positive thoughts. We have hope, love, joy, peace, and all this. But there are certain times, we are going to have all the evil thoughts are going to accumulate, and that's going to spoil you. So you're supposed to be very careful before the interview. You have to erase all your thoughts. You're supposed to erase all your thoughts. I would like to share a real-time experience of a great journalist, Malcolm Muggeridge. Maybe you could have heard something about him. Malcolm Muggeridge is a journalist, he's a satirist. And he lived in India during the Second World War time. He lived in India, in the south part of India. He shared his experience in one of his books. This happened in India. One day, early in the morning, he came to take bath in the river. He could see a young lady was taking bath on the other side of the river. By obeying the evil heart, he decided to meet her. When he came near to the young lady, he saw the face of the lady, and she was a leper. The rotten face of the young lady made him puke. His mouth was about to say, "What an ugly lady." But his mind condemned Malcolm and said, "What an ugly heart you have." Let me repeat it. What an ugly heart you have. So what I'm trying to tell you is, most of the time when you come into that interview, sometimes, nothing wrong telling these kind of things. Come into the interview, they'll come as single, but they'll go as couple. That's so pathetic. When you're not going to understand the reason why you're coming here, the whole life will be spoiled. When you have bad thoughts, they'll just start with just sharing some physics. And what is going to happen? Apparently, chemistry will work out. And then, in fact, it will end with the biology. So clean your mind, and you should know what made you to come to the interview. You should know. There are sometimes, one step ahead, even the interviewee, they'll appreciate, not in a good way, in a bad way, they'll appreciate that examiner or the interviewer. I worked 2 or 3 different companies as HR. Whenever I go for an interview, I see people, they are appreciating. They'll just try to, even they are not going to bother the interviewer. They are ready to, get the numbers of that people, chat with them frequently, right? That's so horrible. So clean your mind, clean your body is very essential. These are the 2 little things, small things you should take care of it. The next thing is very interesting thing. Within 10 minutes, I'm going to complete all the things. This is very important. And there are certain things that will, annoy the interviewer. Sometimes, you may think, why didn't I get job there? What made me? I performed well, but still I didn't get any job. And the interviewer said, okay, that's great. You were so awesome, but still I didn't get a job. You may wonder why. What is the reason behind that? I would like to tell you something about annoying stuffs, some of the annoying stuffs, right? Your interviewer is going to get annoyed, right? The first one is, if you are a bad listener, definitely that will annoy your interviewer. And I know that some of our students, they'll say, excuse me, sir, would you please repeat that? Somebody will tell, would you please come again? I'm sorry, what did you say? Right? They are going to say like that. That's not a really good thing. That will annoy the interviewer. So you must be very careful listening each and every word from the mouth of the interviewer. So if you are a bad listener, you are going to annoy your interviewer. Number 2, if you are a liar, if you're going to bend the truth, again, you're going to annoy the interviewer. There is no place for you. Sometimes, people are going to, they say, I know 3 different languages, right? I know they're allowed to write, even this South Indians, right? They say, I know Malayalam, I know Hindi. They'll write like anything. They write the whole thing. But when the interviewer is going to test something, sometimes, people are going to write, I know Malayalam, right? The interviewer is from Kerala, right? Definitely there will be a big problem, right? So try to write only the true things. Maybe the skills, you've got different skills, right? There are certain skills you do not know anything about that. If you have no idea about that particular skill, say no, that's it. Don't say yes, right? Once you caught, the whole drama will come to an end. This is definitely a drama. The whole drama will come to an end. So don't never, ever write or tell any lie to the interviewer. That's very important. And then the next part is body language. When you have bad body language, that will definitely annoy the interviewer. And most of the time, right, they'll come to the interview part, they'll come into the room, without the permission of the interviewer, they'll sit. That will definitely irate the interviewer. And sometimes, what they'll do, they'll give loose handshakes, and then they'll look their watches always, just as if they are sitting in the classroom in a boredom lecture. They'll look their watch always, where in the interview hall, and unnecessarily they'll scratch their head like anything. Maybe they've got some problem with life in the head. So unnecessarily they'll scratch their head, and unnecessarily they clean their body parts, especially nose. That is definitely will irate your interviewer. And sometimes the next part is they are not ready to learn anything. The interviewer will ask you, we have got so many projects. You're supposed to learn a lot. Every day you have to read anything, and you have to understand that. You have to learn a new language. Are you ready to do that? We'll say yes, but most of the time, it is no. Okay, if you're not ready to learn anything else, definitely that will annoy your interviewer. Why? Because the company is going to give you something different platform. Maybe you could have studied something, but that will not be in the working spot. The working spot is entirely different platform. So you're supposed to learn a lot. Then and there you learn a lot. You should not happy about, oh God, I got a job, I got this much money, I'm not going to learn anything. No, you're supposed to learn a lot. And sometimes, I see some people at an interview, they'll speak like anything. They'll speak and speak and speak. Interviewer is going to, should tell in particular part, interviewer should tell, stop and listen. That much they are going to speak. That particular part, what they're going to do, they'll say, without their knowledge, if the interviewer is going to ask something and without their knowledge, they'll say, sir, it is on my resume. Can you tell me something about your future plans? And the chatterbox will tell, sir, it is on my resume. Kindly go and check. Definitely that will annoy the interviewer. And sometimes the chatterbox will, without knowing anything, the chatterbox will chat like, I would like to start my own business, just for a time being, I'm here. That's sure you're not going to get a job. I'm sure you are not at all going to get a job. And some chatterbox, what they do, they are going to bad mouth about the previous employer. You know what, sir, that company, the employer is not that much good, right? They are going to scandalize, or they are going to tell the real thing, but that is not required. That will definitely make, annoyance. Sometimes, what happened? If you're too nervous, don't show your nervousness in front of the interviewer. Out of nervous, they'll say, sir, I'm really nervous. What I'm supposed to do? Then go home, right? That's the thing. If you're nervous, go home and relax, sleep. Nobody bothers. So that's the thing. And sometimes, out of nervous, they'll say, sir, I do whatever you ask me to do. Is it possible? Is it possible for you to work 24 hours a day? No. Out of nervous, they are going to tell all kind of things. Sometimes, some people are going to, they're not at all going to listen a word of the interviewer. They'll say, they're going to use words like, what the hell are you talking, right? They're going to use words like this. Sometimes, interviewers are going to ask, like, what made you come to the company? They'll say, you asked me to come. So out of, when the interviewee got annoyed, you are going to ask these kind of, utter these kind of things. So what is required? You must be calm all the time. You should not get anger, right? And the last one is, and most of the interviews, when people are going to ask you, the interviewer is going to ask you something like, can you share your weakness? Okay, you all have got this much goodness, good things, strengths. Can you share some of the weakness? And you should not say, you know what, I'm a laziest boy, I'm a laziest girl ever. You should not say like that. You know what, I'm a short-tempered guy. You should not like that. You should not speak like that. Everyone knows that you are a short-tempered guy. Everyone knows that you are a laziest guy. But it is not a right time for you to tell that thing. Okay, then what shall I do? What I'm supposed to tell about the weakness? And you should not say that I don't have any weakness. If you're going to say I don't have any weakness, that you are a liar. Liar? If you're a liar, definitely you have no place in the company. So you're supposed to say some weakness like, it should not harm others. It should not harm your image. That's very important. It should not harm your image. Maybe you can say that I cook. If you're a boy, you can say I cook, right? I give money, right? Just like, without trusting I trust anybody. I give money like anything. So that you can say that. But it should not affect your image. That's very important. And with these words, I would like to complete my presentation. And before complete my presentation, one little part I would like to tell you. What is the little part? Is nothing but a checklist. Checklist is very essential because we are not a supercomputer to store all the things inside our mind. We need to have checklists. Without checklists, we cannot proceed, because checklists are going to give you some information before entering into that interview. So have some checklist is very essential. I would like to show you some of my checklists. I would like to show you some of my things in the bag. This is I call it a interview bag, right? I would like to show you some of the things in the interview bags. The first one is, as I mentioned earlier, I have a book, right? Book type of resume. Okay, so this is my first checklist. So you can, in the checklist column, you can have this is a first one is resume. Write resume. You can have pen and paper and write all these things if you're interested in it. The second thing is, you need to have, in my bag, I have all my original certificates. Some employers, they are interested seeing your original certificates. You can have your original certificates. And apart from that, you need to have some photocopies of your certificates. 5 photocopies of your resume and 5 photocopies of your certificates. You need to have it. And then I have got 2 stick files here. You need to have it, so that if they are in need of individual resume, you can keep it into the resume in that, and you can give it to them. So you can have stick files, and you can have some sheets of A4 sheets, some A4 sheets you can have it, so that you need not expect anyone's help. And in the back, I have stapler, and then I have pins, stapler pins, and pencil, sharpener, and eraser, and then a glue. All right, and then I have got some jump clips here. And what is this? Comb and powder, right? Apart from that, you can have pens. You should have pens. I have got some 10 pens here. Maybe you can have anything you like, okay? And the last one is, you need to have some energizer in your pocket. Maybe you can get some time, some gap between 2 interviews, one-on-one interview or some technical rounds. You can have some gap. In that gap, you can have some relaxation, some energy. You need to have it. So don't go for any kind of artificial things. Just have some fruits. I have some berries here. So you can have berries, you can have oranges, you can have apples, you can have anything you want. And you need to have a water bottle. Okay, you cannot go and roam around to get water bottle. That's not really hygiene. And you can have your own water bottle so that you can quench your thirst. So these are the things, right? And before writing the checklist, I want you to write the first one. What is the first one? High five, and write all the things. I showed all the things. Write all the things in your checklist so that at the time of interview, you can check all the things and you won't have any problem at the time of interview. And friends, I hope, I just shared some of the little things, not the complete thing. I shared some of the little things. If you're going to follow these little things, I'm sure you're going to definitely get into the job. There is no doubt about it. Thank you so much for your precious time. God bless you. And if you have any questions, kindly have questions.
Dr. Ratana Prabhu, thank you so much. You can see the overwhelming response on seeing the number of participants in the session. 100.
Thank you, sir.
The box full now. It is full. Right from the beginning, people have been following you very closely. And I was also following you very closely. Even the minutest part, you have not missed. We are thankful to you, gentlemen. Friends, he is a person who works with the system. He has his own system in working because I'm his colleague. We work together. We used to appreciate him for so many things. And he has worked as a placement cell officer also in one of the colleges he has been working previously. And that experience has certainly helped him in many ways to prepare this session. You are in a hurry. If you are in a hurry to go, asking for the link, I'll give you just a minute. Dr. Ratana Prabhu, someone has asked you about the body language.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you answer?
Yes. Yes, sir. Sure.
It has gone up.
Yes. Yeah. Can you please explain a little more ideas about body language? Yes. Body language is really a very big topic.
And one more thing, excuse me, one more thing before it appears from the screen. Someone has asked to quote how can we quote the salary as a fresher? So you keep that also in your mind and come to that later. Now you go ahead with the body language.
Sure. All right. So body language is really a very vast subject. I need some more than an hour. We have to go for that. But there are certain body language, definitely you're supposed to follow that. And as I mentioned earlier, when you're going to, use your own business, that means, scratching your head and cleaning the body parts, right? That's really, definitely annoy the interviewer. You should avoid certain things. There are certain things you're supposed to follow according to the culture and custom of that company. You can follow the body language. Sometimes, there are some people, they're ready to give you hands. And there are some company, they'll say namaste. Now this is a corona period, right? So you can say namaste is, that's the thing, right? So according to the culture of the company, you can go for that. And before going for the interview, you please read the culture and culture of the company. Only then you can understand, how to perform at that time of interview.
And how to ask about the salary fixation?
Yes, sir. Yes, you can, if you're not comfortable. Okay. I have got, okay. And then salary, if you are, it's very easy for you to ask salary. You can just tell them, right? If you are, I would be grateful if you could share the salary I'm going to get. That's it. Very simple. It is not required to, you need not worry for that. And the interviewers are not going to bother. Interviews are not going to think that, what made you to ask me salary? They're not going to think like that. And you better ask them, I would be grateful. You can use the quote like, I would be grateful if you could share the salary I'm going to get. That's it. Okay. And I hope I've answered your question. And give some mental exercise to reduce stress during interviews. Okay. And really, it is out of practice, right? This is not an easy thing. When you are going to think, that the interviewer is a boss, that he is the boss, but as a matter of fact, he's not our boss. He is just interviewing us. That's it. And you should think in your mind that I'm just going to share my point. I'm going to share my skill with this gentleman, and he is not going to decide anything. I have got all the things. And when you are going to have positive thinking in your mind, when you're going to think positive about you, that will enhance your stress. That will reduce your stress. I'm sorry, that will reduce your stress during interviews. You're supposed to think like, I am the one. If I'm not going to get, you have to think like this. If I'm not going to get, then who else will get this? So you should have that kind of a positive thinking. Once you have got the positive thinking, it's pretty easy for you to reduce the stress. And how to avoid the same question, how to avoid nervousness on the day of the interview. The same answer, right? And I used to tell my students, like, if you're in the bus stand, you stop the bus, you wave your hand, but the bus didn't stop for you. That's not your cup of tea. That's it. Okay. And that's so simple, right? And you're supposed to look on to the next one, right? There are plenty of opportunities are coming, right? And you should not you're supposed to think in your mind, but you should not act. That's very important. You should think in your mind that, okay, if it is not in that, I can do that. That's not a big problem. Just be cool all the time. That will definitely reduce your nervousness. And never ever show your nervousness in front of the examiner. And examiners, interviewers are allowed to see you in squam kind of a thing, right? In Tamil, நீங்க புழு மாதிரி நெளிகிறத ரொம்ப விரும்புவாங்க. They love to see the thing, I'm sure, right? But don't show your nervousness in front of them, okay? And you're supposed to be casual, just like a bro, right? Your bro, your sister, you just talk with them and you can share anything, right? And once you're going to share everything with them, the nervousness will go away from you. Just speak on. That's it. How to keep focus? And I have got another question. How to keep focus without any distraction? And as I mentioned earlier, keep focusing is definitely God alone can help you. And if you are a true believer of God and pray to God, God, give me strength. When you have a desire to move away from distractions, definitely God will help you to go with the right choice. That will help you to move away from the distractions. All right. Is there any questions?
Any more questions from the participants, please? You can ask him straight away.
Yes, if you're not comfortable in your the food in the restaurant, kindly take your homemade food prepared by you. You can take, otherwise, if you're not comfortable taking food, just have some energizer. Maybe you can take fruits, not a heavy food. Just take fruit, some of the fruits that will give you energy. That sort of food you can take with you. That will help you. And when you come home, you can have your food. And just have some fruits that will help you. That will give some energy. If you're not comfortable taking food in the restaurant, that is going to be the ideal thing. Yes, my question is on. Can you just tell me what is your question, Mr. Thomas? Mr. Thomas, can you write again your question?
Sir, how foreign language would be helpful in the company? That is the question that was posed by Mr. Thomas.
Okay, how foreign language would be helpful in the company? Definitely. If you're not, if you have no idea about the language, you just tell them that I have no idea about the language, and they are, if you're really skillful, if they wanted to get you in, they are going to teach you the language. Probably if you're interested, that's what I mentioned earlier. You're supposed to learn. Willingness to learn is very essential. You're supposed to show your willingness to learn a language. If you're not comfortable, if you have no idea about the language, you're supposed to tell them that I have no idea about the language. For example, Chinese, if you have no idea about that, they are going to teach you. There are some softwares, there are some people training, and they are going to teach you. Definitely that will help you. And some basic languages like English, that you have to take care of it, and you supposed to, they are going to give preferences, though the company is going to be situated near by your hometown. And the interview and as well as the culture will be definitely in some other languages. Definitely the lingua franca of this century is English, so you must concentrate in English. That will help you. Have I answered your question, sir? Mr. Thomas?
Okay, friends, shall we say thanks to Dr. Ratna Prabhu? And before we say thanks to Dr. Ratna Prabhu, I want to make an announcement here. On Monday, we continue with this 7-day program. Tomorrow is a Sunday. Sunday is the Lord's Day. So we continue from Monday. On Monday, we have one Mr. Rama Subramanian to speak on the topic, Be Certified. Dr. Ratna Prabhu was concentrating more on how to keep ourselves ready for a program. And Dr. Sri Rama Subramanian will be talking on how to make ourselves certified. There are a number of certificate courses available, but how many certificates have you received? And wait, let's listen to Mr. Rama Subramanian. Now, the day next to Dr. Rama Subramanian, we have Dr. Jesse from Jashila from Madurai will be enlightening us on the topic, Be a Pathfinder. What a different topic it is, right? On the last day, we have one Miss Shruti, right? Here comes the link. You can use this link to fill your feedback and also answer the questions. You can receive the certificates immediately. Thank you for being with us. Oh, someone has beautifully said, in the அருமையான அமர்வுக்கு நன்றி ஐயா. அம்மா, நீங்கள் தொடர்ந்து வாருங்கள். எங்களோடு இருங்கள். கற்றுக்கொள்ளுங்கள். வருக. You can, friends, you can find this link here down below. You can use this, and you can, and I've already posted the email ID of our placement cell. If you want to write more, and if you want to express yourself more, you can use that ID also. We want to see you. There was a lady with us now. She had some other program and she had to leave us in the middle. She has told us that she has recorded there and she has chatted with me by saying that she's from Sri Lanka. So we are having participants from Sri Lanka also. She mentioned that she had been with us for all the programs and she would like to be with us for the rest of the programs also. We would like to know more. If you're from some other country other than India, we will be very happy to know that. You can come on the chat box, introduce yourself from where you are, and we would like to thank you very much. Dr. Ratna Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Right, if you want to say something more about interviews, how to prepare yourself or ourselves for the interviews, you can enlighten them. Now they'll be a little bit busy with the form filling.
Form filling, okay, fine.
Every day we are sending around 80 plus certificates. That itself is a
Great success. Yes, sir.
success by God's grace.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow is the Lord's Day, so we won't be disturbing you. But on Monday we will meet again. Yes, could you please resend the link? Yes, I'll send you. It's there, Madam Divya Darshini. You can take this. What is that, madam? Bad network issue? Divya Darshini, madam. If you are not able to do this now, you can send your feedback to our email ID. I shall look into it. I'm typing it out now.
She got it.
Right. Other friends can also use this email ID to record your views about this skill development program. There are still 88 members here. Now the presentation is over. You can come for a free chat with Dr. Ratana Prabhu. You can ask him any question. You can feel free to consider him as your friend. Am I right, Dr. Ratana Prabhu?
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right, sir.
Hello, friends. He is a very, very nice person. You can talk to him freely. Dr. Ratana Prabhu, why don't you give your email ID so that others can also be in touch with you straight away?
Yes, sir.
Kindly.
Already I gave them. Anyhow, let me.
Yeah, please. Dr. Ratana Prabhu is giving his email ID. You friends, participants, you can be in touch with him straight away. You can invite him to your college. You can engage him for a webinar like this.
Yes, sir. It is holymarbles at
No.
gmail.com.
Type it out and send, please.
Yes, sir. It is in the chat box.
All right. It may take time for me to receive it from you.
Yes.
I have not yet received.
Oh.
Can you spell it out?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's HOLYMARBLES, Holy Marbles @gmail.com.
So thank you, friends. Thank you so much. 77 are with us now. Thank you, Mr. Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Raja. Anybody from North India? Yesterday, there was somebody from Benares Hindu University, and there was somebody from Surat. There was somebody from Amritsar. If you're from North India, we would love to say, yeah, Mr. Thomas, you're from Punjab. Welcome, Mr. Thomas. I believe that this program was really a useful one. Yes, Mr. Abhishek. Mr. Thomas, you can ask your friends to follow. Uh, uh, sorry, Mr. Thomas, you can ask your friends to follow this program. Thank you for your feedback, Mr. Thomas. I see a few names on all the days here. On all the days. Mr. Thomas, would you like to say a few words?
Hello.
Yes, please, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, Benson sir, it's nice to have this webinar.
Louder, please.
Yeah, sir, I every day enjoy this class and it's full of inspiration and it's
We are
wonderful.
not able to listen to you, gentlemen. Can you keep the microphone closer to your mouth and speak?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Now it's clear. Good.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. So thank you very much, sir. I am very happy to have this webinar and I am enjoying it. It's very wonderful and inspiring. And it's a lot of things, new things to learn, and the horizon of my understanding also is widened. So every day I send feedbacks and I enjoy. It's very good, nice.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Hitesh Rohit. Mr. Hitesh Rohit. Can you say a few words, please? Yes, Madam Anandavalli. Anandavalli is here. Who is this? Where are you from, Anandavalli? Can you say a few words?
Sir?
Yes, please. Can you
Sir,
say a few words about this program?
Yes, sir, it's very nice and it's very good to us. In this situation, we are not at all thinking about anything, but now the thoughts from various resource person making us refresh and think about future. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, madam. You can be with us till the end.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Who is this? Madam Rajeshwari Amayan. Hello. Jenikar is here. Yes, Mr. Jenikar. Mr. Hitesh Rogi, you are from Gujarat. Good. Yeah, thank you. Can you say a few words? Is it possible for us to see your face? Yeah, Jenika, you can also say a few words. Madam Fatima Misfa. Hello, Madam Fatima Misfa. Abisha Menesa. Madam, can you say a few words?
Sir, this is Jenikar. Can I have a few words now?
Yeah, you can. Please open your camera.
Oh, you want the video as well?
Yes, we would like to see you.
Okay, sir. Just a minute, sir. I will.
Okay, Mr. Hitesh Rohit, no problem, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for your message.
Hello, sir. This is Jenikar, and I believe my video is on now. Are you able to view me?
No. Dr. Ratna Prabhu is there searching for your face.
Okay. But I can see you and Dr. Ratna Prabhu.
So we are not able to see you. That is the thing. I'm asking you.
Uh, I believe I'm able to, sir, but everything seems to be working fine from my end. Can you please recheck your camera?
Recheck my camera can see only my face. It cannot see your face.
Okay. Well, sir, anyway, since you're able to hear my voice, I think that would suffice
I
for
have
now.
got it.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
have got your beautiful face.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
So the session was useful. I believe especially students would have found this very useful in terms of the interview tips given by Dr. Ratna Prabhu. And especially when he talked about the things that could probably annoy an interviewer and the preparation that one has to do before going for the interview, especially when he talked about going to the site of the interview a day before the interview so that one could come prepared on the day of the interview was really, really good, sir. And I thank you, Dr. Ratna Prabhu. And you, Dr. Benison, the arrangements that you made for this.
Thank you. It's a combined work with Dr. Christy because Dr. Christy is the admin. She's there on the other end, but unfortunately, she has got some work in her son's school, so she has left us well in advance. So, friends, 42 are here. Thank you very much for being with us once again. God bless you. We meet again. Bye. Thank you, Ratna Prabhu, Dr. Ratna.